Welcome to the Living a Nordic Life podcast, where we explore a simpler, cosier and more intentional life the Nordic way. I'm Fiona McKenna, your Nordic living guide and founder of Living a Nordic Life, where I share all things Nordic living and show you that a Nordic life is the way to bring intentional calm and healthy habits into your own life, wherever you are in the world. Are you looking for ways to bring simplicity, coziness and calm into your life? Well, let me show you how. Visit the Living a Nordic Life website to explore how I can help you on your journey to simple, healthy and happy calm, the Nordic way. You can subscribe to the podcast right here. And if you want regular inspirational emails sent with love from Norway and straight to your inbox, don't forget to subscribe to the Living a Nordic Life newsletters. And so now let's dive into our episode. What is a Norwegian confirmation? I want to talk to you today about something that's very traditional and a part of life for everybody here in Norway, regardless of your religion or denomination or lack of religion even, whatever. It's something that's part of Norwegian culture, and it's the confirmation. If you visit Norway and you drive around through the little villages, if you don't just, stay in a city, if you drive through the little villages and the towns, in April, May or June, you'll see churches and the town centres and the village centres full of people in bunad, that's national dress, on Saturdays and Sundays. They might be wandering through the town at a leisurely pace or gathered outside a church. And to the uninitiated, it might look like they simply enjoy dressing up at the weekend, or that people wear bunad to go to church on a Sunday, which they don't. But there's much more to it, and it's a tradition that dates back hundreds of years. It's called the confirmation. Konfirmasjon. When a child in Norway reaches the year of their 15th birthday, I don't actually have to be 15, it's the year of their 15th birthday. And it's the April, May and June of that year. They take part in this ancient rite of passage, the confirmation. And this rite of passage usually takes place in the late spring or early summer. In other words, April, May and June. Usually April and May, I have to say. And it's when the weather is pleasant, but no one's yet heading to their cabins for the summer months, or the school holidays haven't started and people are not around. It's that time when we do a lot of celebrating anyway, because we celebrate the 17th of May, and then there's, which is Norway's National Day, and there are an awful lot of public holidays in May. Although confirmations date back a really long time, during the time of Martin Luther they were rejected as sacrament. But a more evangelical form of confirmation was introduced, and in 1736 it became an obligatory duty for everyone. Can you believe that? Until 1912 it was compulsory, and gave the confirmant lifestyle changes in clothing, and the chance to be an adult. 15's kind of young, isn't it, to be an adult? But, we still kind of go along those lines a little bit. It also gave the church and state control over what was being taught, I'm sorry to say that, and information that young people were receiving. It was very much controlled by the church, which it isn't so much anymore. There's the opportunity to have a more secular confirmation. In the old days, a confirmation would have been the formal transition from child to adult. Yep, 15 is not really adult, is it? That's not what we see as adult. But of course, life expectancy was much shorter then. And people's lives were harder. But these days we expect that 15 years old is not adulthood, but it gives our young people a glimpse into adulthood and time to understand the responsibilities of not only being an adult, but also being a good citizen. You might think that something as old as confirmations, and with the decline in churchgoers, which happens here in Norway, although the Norwegian church, I have to say, does like to say that it has a strong, big congregation, but the reality is it doesn't. I live in the Bible Belt in southern Norway, And it's supposedly the area where lots of people go to church, but I don't actually know anybody who goes to church. People usually only go to church for weddings, which don't happen that often, christenings, funerals, and confirmations. Everybody will go for a confirmation. In 2023, more than 32,000 children were confirmed in that 1 year. This is about 48% of all 15-year-olds living in Norway. So, as you can see, the confirmation is showing no signs of waning. But they're more than just the priest blessing people. It's an entire event in its own right, and it takes months of preparation leading up to it. The confirmation ceremony itself is actually the final thing, and that is not the confirmation. The confirmation is all about learning how to behave up to that point. It starts with the confirmation course. And in order to take part in the confirmation ceremony, the confirmant must first complete a confirmation course. This usually takes place over the course of 10 weeks, once a week, from the autumn of the previous year or early in the year of the confirmation. And this course includes subjects such as responsibilities as a citizen and dedication to the church if you're going for a church confirmation. But it's 10 weeks of learning your responsibilities really as an adult, how to behave, how to be accepting, how to view the world in a very liberal and accepting kind of a way, a very Nordic way, let's put it that way. But there are types of confirmation as well. There are two conventional types of confirmation in Norway, the church confirmation and the humanist secular confirmation. Only children who've been baptised can take part in a church confirmation. But Norway is a country of multiple religions. It's very much based on everybody being accepted here. And it prides itself on being secular. So humanist confirmations are also popular for those not wanting to take part in church-related activities, or those who aren't Christian, or those who aren't practising Christian, or people who simply want to have a confirmation but don't want to have to go to church. The ceremony. Once the confirmant has taken part in the confirmation course, they have an official confirmation ceremony, either at the town hall, for those who have a secular confirmation, or at church, for the churchgoers. Back in the day, the confirmation would have been a promise to God to be a good Christian and uphold the Christian faith. Now it's actually a promise to behave like a good citizen and a chance for everybody to celebrate those children. And Millie, my middle child, had her confirmation at the town hall, and it was lovely. Everybody was still wearing traditional dress, and it was full with families and friends of all these children who were being confirmed. And of course, there's the party afterwards. It wouldn't be Norway, would it, without a party? And that's true Norwegian fashion. The ceremony is not the end of the celebration, but this is not some kind of crazy party with a bunch of teenagers. It's always family and friends, and it's very elegant and graceful and just lovely. It's more formal and elegant gathering. There are speeches beforehand from the parents, possibly grandparents and close relatives, and often from the confirmant themselves. There are some other fun traditions as well. And one of the things I find most bewildering about this, because of course I'm English and we don't normally have confirmations unless we're Roman Catholic, which I'm not, I'm Church of England, and confirmations are not something that we normally have in England. So this whole thing is something that I've had to learn, and I've had to learn it quite quickly actually, because my eldest was confirmed last year and then my second child this year. So it's something that I've had to learn all about. It's different when you go to a confirmation. In fact, one of the first things that I did when Andrea and I met, a few months after we met actually, was I was invited to my niece's confirmation here in Norway, and I'd never been. I didn't know what to wear. I didn't know anything about it at all. So it was very interesting. But when you are hosting it, that's a different matter altogether, because you're not just going to the ceremony and the celebration. You actually have to get your child onto the course and encourage them to do all these things and all the planning that goes with it. A lot of stuff. But anyway, one of the most bewildering things about the confirmation is the songs. Part of Norwegian tradition at confirmations is that the parents write a fun song about the confirmant. Yep. I'm guessing that this is not always easy to do because there are countless websites and templates and things like that dedicated to helping parents with this difficult task. I'm afraid to say it's not something we did. Neither of my teenagers wanted that. So we didn't bother. I think it would have just been a little bit embarrassing. I think that's the whole idea of it, isn't it? It's supposed to be funny. Another part of the confirmation that I think the kids like the most is the confirmation gifts. And I think if you ask any of them, they probably would, if they were completely honest. That would be one of the main reasons they're doing it. And certainly if you ask anybody in my generation, they will say that that was why they did it. But I don't think the priests were particularly happy if they asked why they were doing the confirmation and they said for the gift. But there you go. And it's something that I find the most awkward to talk about because I'm British and we don't discuss money. We never discuss money. It's one of those taboo subjects. But part of the confirmation is a gift to the confirmant, and it's money, generally. I don't think it's wrong to say that it's gradual, from the biggest amount given by the child's parents, the grandparents giving slightly less, aunts and uncles a bit less, down to cousins, friends, and even neighbours. Of course, the amount given is dependent on the amount that people earn, and that depends on where you live. And I think you could expect people who live in the most expensive areas of Oslo to give the most. But the average gift size from parents is about 7,000 kroner to 10,000 kroner. That's about $700 to about $1,000 American dollars. Although some give much more. I'm not going to tell you how much we gave. It's a little bit more than that. Many children will save their money. They put it to one side and they save it. They might go and buy a moped, for example, because they would have been able to learn to drive at that point and they can drive a moped. Or they might go and buy a computer or something useful. But lots spend their money on things like designer clothes or going out and just frittering it away. You always know when confirmations start because there's a sudden surge in the number of mopeds on the road. They're everywhere. And the kids are all driving mopeds to school as well because a lot of them are in year 10 at that point. So, tell me, are confirmations something that you have in your culture? Maybe you've had a confirmation yourself. And I would guess if you have Norwegian heritage, you probably have had a confirmation, but maybe not here in Norway. So I'd love to hear from you and let me know if it's something, a tradition that you would love to see yourself. And I am going to be writing an article for the Living a Nordic Life website with lots of pictures and details of my daughter Amelia's confirmation, which took place earlier this year. And I'll see you in the next episode. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the Living a Nordic Life newsletters so you can get an email when I release a new episode. It's a quick and easy way to keep up with all things Nordic living. Please visit livinganordiclife.com. You can listen to Living a Nordic Life on lots of podcast apps, including Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, and plenty of others. If you've enjoyed the Living a Nordic Life podcast, why not leave me a rating? So that's the end of Living a Nordic Life for today, and I look forward to seeing you next time.